it wasn't just 5 simple tips, it was a million great tips. So this is my last video of Vlogmas. That's my gift from me to you. Aww. So we're gonna start off with a comment from Southern Latitudes. This is our wildlife and pest video, and she wrote, I didn't hear 5 simple tips, I heard millions of great tips. Thank you for not leaving out snakes. I have a black racer that loves to hang out in my back corner, and we just let her. Occasionally I find yellow rat snakes going up here and hunting for rats, and I let her. Also, I love to photograph the birds in my yard, and I have actually seen yellow warblers eating the bugs off the leaves. Yay! Oh, isn't it great? I think, you know, so many people are so focused on growing food that they miss out how much when you bring in those predator species, by giving them the support of native plants, how much they are gonna just help you grow so much more than you realize. I think we get a little focused more on ourselves and not seeing the whole system and how it works together. So yes, I love it. Yay! So Kathleen said / asked, thank you. I just bought a home in Ormond Beach. I need to find good fill for my backyard. I heard that someone got fill and it was bad contaminant. Yeah, so this used to be a really big problem, is that there are broad spectrum herbicides specifically that attack broadleaf plants. So this contaminant, so there's a certain, and I don't know the name of it. David the Good talks about it so much. So I would definitely give him more credit / for one, identifying this issue. And he has been talking about it for years, like years and years and years. This contamination, and the fact that University of Florida has it on its list of viable herbicides, but it's a broadleaf herbicide that can be used on grass type crops. So like your corns, your wheats, your sugar canes, is a big one for Florida, corn, stuff like that. And it will kill broadleaves, but this means it impacts our tomatoes, our peppers, I don't know if it lettuces, but a lot of crops that we would grow in our vegetable gardens. And because these grasses and hays are being fed to livestock like cows and horses, and it's not absorbed by them, which is good from a livestock perspective, it's passing through into their manure, which is getting used on these broadleaf crops, and it's killing the broadleaf crops. He put out a video a couple weeks ago, month ago, it was a little bit ago, on how you can test it. So if you've got fill in, basically, I'll just give you kind of the quick cliff notes. You can go watch his video for more detail, but basically use beans and you just put them in there. And if you see them, and why you want to use beans is they sprout really fast. And so you can very quickly, within like a week, know if you've got a problem. So I think it's about 1 to 2 weeks, you're going to know you've got a contamination issue. So it's a way to do like a really quick test when you're being plants. And if you want to, you can do like a control test by like buying some bag soil from the store, and you just put some beans in there, put it in the stuff that you bought, your big, large, and then before you go and plant out a whole area, you'll know if you got contamination. So that's your quick and easy way. And I totally give credit to David the Good, because he's the one who figured this out a long time ago / on a way you could test it. So yeah, it's a big problem, and it's getting more pervasive the more it's getting moved around. So Robin's Nest 4715, how do you keep your plants evenly watered? We seem to have very dry seasons where I water daily, and very wet times when my plants are drowning. Do you use irrigation like drip during the dry season? We are technically limited to lawn irrigation 1 day a week. So I hand water, but I struggle to get right specifically for squash and melon plants. So I do not use drip irrigation. I just use standard lawn irrigation. That's on reclaim. We're not limited to once a week. We are supposed to do twice a week. I often do 3 times a week in the vegetable garden, but in the dry season. But what the other thing is that we do is mulch, because organic matter holds on to moisture longer. So if you haven't put some other material with your soil, it washes out pretty fast. So my annual application of mulch helps even out the water so that it doesn't, because sandy soil very fast. I just spilled some tea on my foot. This is the problem with hand gestures, cups, tea. It's getting chilly again. So that's how I deal with it. So what I would recommend is like increase your organic matter so that you can create that sponge, so that during the dry season, and then you should only need to 2 or 3 times a week at most. DP wrote, I think a beaver stole my log in my yard next to the retention pond. Unbelievable. Do we have beavers in Florida? I don't know if we did. I didn't know if we did. I know we have otters. I saw otters a few months ago. It was my first time ever seeing otters in the wild in Florida. Suzette asked, sand fleas? No seums? Yes. So, so sand fleas are a type of no-see-um. There are lots of different. No-see-um just means like tiny little buggies, right? But the sand fleas, the way you can tell, I remember talking to my coworker, maintenance guy, and he moved down from Pennsylvania, and he was saying like his wife gets bit by mosquitoes all the time. And I was like, does she get bit by mosquitoes or these sand fleas? And he's like, no, mosquitoes. I'm like, are all the bites like basically knee lower? And he was like, yeah, they're all knee lower. I was like, that's sand fleas. Because he was saying how it didn't matter how much mosquito spray she put on, and that the bites would just itch and itch for weeks. Those are probably sand fleas. And their population doesn't drop down until we get below 60 degrees, but they're in your grass. That's why when you hang out outside, you'll get like these little bites, and they won't itch. They'll itch when they're biting, and then they kind of die down for like 12 hours, maybe 24, and then they kind of come back in force, and then they will like really itch for the next like week and a half. They are super annoying. And yes, ladies, we tend to get bit more. And the way you get around those ones is Avon. They have a skin, so it's like a bug cream / mosquito spray cream, and like that. I think it's because of the oil in it. It doesn't allow them, because they're so tiny, to bite through it. And that is the only way. Mosquito spray does not stop them. So they are like no-see-ums, but they're specifically, you'll know because they bite your shin, basically knee on down. Knee down. Kevin Horse said, snakes can't dig holes or make tunnels. They don't have limbs or claws. This is a fact. This is true. I know I was like, I don't know how they're digging holes. You know, sometimes you just, even though you know, you don't know. So yes. But they'll be looking for food, and they may make a den in a cave or a tunnel, but they can't build it themselves. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for clarifying. It makes sense. It's complete logical, and I appreciate logic. Christy Dolman said, I tried to make a butterfly garden, but it sort of seemed to turn into a baby bird food factory. Oh, I forgot this in the week 3. I flip-floppitied videos. My bad. So this one was from last week, and then the one I thought was Friday wasn't, because the videos, look, we're just gonna roll with it. This was the video that was the plants for beginners and beyond. This was based off my friend Samuelita's question about what should you buy people for Christmas for plants, and my interpretation of hers. So Agurda Arroyo said, hi and happy holidays, happy holidays. My name is Pat from Newborough, New York. I've watched tons of videos and even started a small backyard garden. I'm using the winter months to learn more. I just learned about leaf mold. Do you make your own leaf mold, and do you use it on your vegetables and flowers? Now, I'm no expert on leaf mold, nor am I a novice on leaf mold. Here is my thoughts on leaf mold as our light is dying. We get to the end of the day. We have lots of mold in Florida. It's all over the place. So, and it's because we have so much moisture. So no, I've never created leaf mold. And I don't know that you would need to here in Florida, just because, I mean, we get all sorts of weird molds here. Really weird molds, from dog vomit mold. I got that one that like, it looks like it's from the Alien movies, but it's like pink red. I saw it in my garden the other day. There are so many weird molds that grow here. So no, I have not, and no, I have not used leaves. No, I'm a mulch kind of girl. A mulch kind of girl. Teresa Minnick, coming back to Samuelita's gifts idea, said, I would want orchid gifts for my oak tree orchid gallery. I think that was a good idea. And I talked to Samuelita on the phone, and she did say she probably would give orchids, but she was trying, she agreed, she said I guessed her right, which was she was trying to branch out of her usual box. So, but I think many people would appreciate much more orchids, and putting them on oaks. And Disney always does this really cool thing where they take the sable palms / cabot palm and the boots on them, you know, the little part that like when you cut off the branch that's left behind, they would tuck them in there. It's really good, and you do it all the way up and around. It's really cool looking. They've done it where like they put like 100 around a palm. It's really, really cool. If you've ever seen it, I actually took a picture of it years ago and I showed it to her or sent it to her because I was like, have you seen this? Because she really is. She's so big into orchids. So, okay, we'll keep it moving because I'm definitely losing light. Erica said, my Biden's alba in a big container is growing beautiful. See, Biden's alba, they can be big pains in the butts, but in a container, they can be very nice. I want the tiny cute butterflies. The orchid I got last May, it's attached to some tree in my yard. It was beat up by Ian really bad. Bummers. Lost big chunks of leaves, but now it's putting flowers out. Aw, isn't that amazing? Nature just can recover. It just can recover. It's very surprising how well it can recover. But then let's jump over to natives in containers. How and what can you grow? Kim Farrick wrote another great video. It didn't even dawn on me to plant and mix natives in containers. Thanks for the inspiration. Well, thank you, Kim. Kim is a long-time watcher. Kim's been watching for like almost probably the entire time we've had a channel. So we appreciate Kim. And then Jay wrote, I am in zone 10A and my coneflower will not grow. Wah, wah, wah. So when it comes to your coneflowers, and this was I heard from the people at Little Red Wagon, is you do need to get the right variety ecotype, because not all like purple coneflowers grow everywhere, because purple coneflower has a pretty wide range, aka echinacea. So I know that they were talking about a couple things like Joe Pye weed, and not that that's for container, but they were talking about how they've tried different varieties that will grow better in our area. So sometimes you got to get the right type, and often that's not what's readily available outside the native nursery network. William Mickle wrote, frog fruit, frog fruit, frog fruit. Diane McDaniel wrote, you are so right about the red tropical stage spreading out. It is crazy how much that thing will receive. The pink one doesn't seem to spread as much. Good to know. I don't think I've ever bought, have I ever bought the pink one? I don't think I've bought the pink one. But it doesn't matter. It's beautiful and easy to contain. Thanks for the ideas and Merry Vlogmas. Thank you, Diane. And I will tell you, I had the white tropical sage and it did not seed as much as my red. And then it died. But the red is just like everywhere. Everywhere, everywhere. If it wasn't next to grass that mowed, I probably have a whole field of it by now, which not a bad idea. Sandy Salzman gave this really great tip. I mean, it was a compliment to me, but I did it inadvertently when I was giving the pot tips, but she said, great suggestions. Basic rule for balance for a potted planter is thriller, filler, and spiller. You nailed it. Thank you, Sandy. But I didn't know that. That was just kind of, I didn't realize that was the technique for pots. I just have seen enough potted arrangements that I knew these were things people who do potted plants do. Also, my friend who asked for the gift ideas called me and said, why haven't you done potted plants, Jacqueline? Why haven't you shown us more of this? And I was like, girl, you know I don't like putting things in pots. I feel like they're too fussy. But you know what? Maybe I'll zhuzh up my parents' condo balcony at some point if I have time. Because I know my mom would like flowers out there, and I got to figure out a watering system for them, because I did a tomato for her and it did not go well because she was not a consistent waterer. But maybe native plants would do better, but then she freaks out about bees. So I don't know. We'll see. Oreo Paxton wrote, keeping the wild, the crazy contained. And I thought I was container gardening as my guerrilla attempt to grow food in an HOA. Your photos get better and better. They give a whole new perspective on plants that I previously saw as weeds. Oh yes. Native plants can be very, very pretty. Oftentimes we see them and they're growing very wild and scraggly. But a lot of the ones that the native nurseries carry are meant to look really pretty. So yes, don't sleep on the native plants. Totally get them. And Carmen wrote, the butterfly that came at you thought your sunglasses were black-eyed Susan. That is probable. I've had bees and stuff kind of come near my yellow sunglasses, like this seems like this is a thing for us. So that's okay. The wildlife likes me and I like them. And then on Thursday of week 3, we did fertilizer 101. Jacqueline's talking about it. She's talking about the fertilizers and the problems we have. S. Martinez wrote a really good comment. Something I've heard from gardeners that I really like. You don't need to focus so much on the plant. You need to take care of the soil, and the soil will take care of the plant. That is so true. Of course, something else very important to remember is the right plant in the right place. For mulch, I try to use what I have at hand: twigs, leaves, grass cuttings, chip drop. Knowing these will eventually decompose. Thank you for your very valuable information you're providing. Yeah, so yes, all those things. Healthy plants are coming from healthy soil. So if your plant's in the right place and has all the things it needs, it will do really well. It's very rare that diseases can come in if the plant is not already. Diseases come into plants that aren't healthy. Life with Eric. I want to start vermicomposting, but I am nervous I will bring in more pests and bugs in the summer. I'm also worried about keeping the worms cool. I don't want to have to put frozen water bottles and such in my bins every day. I don't have the freezer space for that. I started burying my vegetable scraps to break down over time. I'm just digging holes in my garden, putting in vegetable scraps and covering it up. It's a start. That is so true. That's how I started. Look, there's no shame. Keep it simple. And then I just pointed him to the black soldier fly composting, because the worm game, I've watched videos on it, and honestly, I don't have time for that stuff. I don't want to put effort into that kind of stuff. So God bless you if you do. But if when you watch all those composting videos and you're just like, wow, this just feels like a lot, totally check out black soldier fly composting. You can see my video about composting a whole turkey. I talk you through exactly what I do. It is so simple. It's so simple. If you are just trying to save the world by not throwing stuff in the garbage, black soldier fly composting is the easiest you can do. Debbie Scholes brought up rabbit manure is wonderful. It can be added immediately. It's not hot. It can be dried and powdered also. I don't know how you powder it without putting it in a mixer, but you got something. There you go. There you go. Rabbits are easy to raise and produce lots of manure. Yes, my neighbors have rabbits and they have offered me the compost, and I have not taken them up on it, so I'm really happy that Debbie wrote this, because when she did with some of the projects I'm planning in the new year, I was like, oh, I need to text Tara and say, I'll start taking all your rabbit manure for like the next month, because I don't know why I haven't used it yet. I should have been using it. Chris Chadwell wrote, great info. The science of fertilizer has always confused me, so I don't bother. Survival of the fittest. You know what? I totally get that. Chemistry is, while I am an engineer by background, I don't like chemistry. I don't know what it is. There's like a certain tipping point when we talk chemistry that I'm always like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. And so I totally get it. Oh my gosh, Susan from Butterfly Gardening Inspirations wrote, fabulous info. You are awesome. And I was kicking myself. I put her in my description of the other resource video. When I got done editing and posting, I saw one of her community posts and I was like, oh my God, how did I not put Susan in this list? Because she was the one when I was raising caterpillars as a project with my kids. I watched her videos for all the tips. So if you're into raising, like if you're not doing it the wild way like I do, Susan all day. Ruben's watching wrote, do you have / grow indoor plants? I am very anti-house plants. Not just because they're invasive, because I've seen so many videos of how fussy they are, and I don't have time for that. We have a rule in my house that says nature stays outside. And this applies in many, many ways, both from my kids bringing in sticks and rocks and all sorts of stuff. So we say nature stays outside, but also houseplants. Like I've seen so many videos from other YouTubers about spider mites and flies and all sorts. And Florida has so many bugs. Having a place that's so easy for them to take like a foothold in the house, I don't want to deal with it. Bugs need to stay out of the house. So I am not a big fan of houseplants, period. I get why people do it. I'm not. And then because I have personal anger issues towards some of them, many houseplants, because they're in my yard and they are invasive and I have to constantly rip them out. So like golden pothos is like a super popular houseplant, and it's growing wild over there. It's an invasive species, and I'm constantly having to rip it out. So I really don't want to like be fussing at it in my house. It just feels like, urgh. So no, I do not. Nina Jacobs wrote, your faces. The faces you make is hilarious. Yes, I enjoy making faces. I'm an animated person. I just am. That Laura wrote, please tell me horse manure is good because I have a lot. Yes, as long as it doesn't have that chemical in it, you're good to go with horse manure. Have fun. Spread it around. Okay, I'm racing the sun. Let's see if we can get a few more in before I totally lose the sun. Okay, on the cross-section of native and edible plants, Irene Loria wrote, hey Jacqueline, had to let you know your videos have made my last few months bearable after receiving a rare cancer diagnosis. Oh, I'm so sorry. I had to give up gardening due to the side effects from chemo and recent surgery. I can totally understand. My best friend has been dealing with cancer breast cancer for a very long time now, and it has been years. It's been like 3 years of dealing with all the stuff. I look forward to your sweet and bubbly personality daily now to get me through this recovery. Best medicine for this holiday season. Merry Christmas to you and your family, and thank you for all the work you've put into turning out these videos. Many blessings. Well, I wish you the very best in all that. I don't personally know from experience, but just having talked with my best friend so much about all the challenges of going through that process. I am glad that I can make your day a little bit better as you work through all the pieces of dealing with cancer, because I know it's a lot. So I'm happy to take your mind off of it or make it just not so bad for a little bit. So yes, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Carmen wrote, I may have missed you mentioning, but Cabbage Palm's edible center is sold in grocery stores as Hearts of Palm. You didn't miss it. I didn't say that. I didn't think of it until I read your comment that, like, yes, that's when you hear salads called Hearts of Palm, that's Cabbage Palm. And someone else wrote that, like, when you get the little ones that are, oh, Carmen wrote it, if you have a larger yard, babies pop up constantly. I have a few with 2 fun trucks, so I'm hoping to attack one for Christmas. Yay! Yay, yay, yay. Do it. I'm running out of light. You can see, little lights are coming on the house. My computer screen is lighting my face now. But let's see if we can get it through. Oh, TW asked, will you be keeping your Vlogmas videos up after the holidays? There's so much great info in these videos and life is so crazy. It is hard to absorb and retain all this new knowledge. Thank you for all the videos. You are a gem. Oh, thank you so much, TW. Yes. No, I'm not taking down any of the videos. You can totally come back and watch them as many times as you want. That'll help YouTube know that everybody really likes my videos. So feel free to watch through them. But of course, there'll be new content as we get in the new year because there's a lot to get done. And that really brings me to Just Keep Planting. Nemo asked, will we get to hear more about what you're going to do in your backyard? And actually, I'm going to talk about that next Friday. So we'll just kind of end it right here. So I just want to, before I wrap up, I just wanted to say thank you all so much for hanging out with me through Vlogmas. I honestly, when I was thinking about what kind of videos I wanted to put out throughout the holiday season, I just kept thinking about the fact that the people who are going to be watching are, you know, my most dedicated viewers, the ones who come for all the videos, no matter how good or not good they are. And I just really wanted to give something that I thought you guys would really, really enjoy, because I know a lot of gardening channels are kind of not putting out a lot, and I just thought it would be a fun way. I really did. I meant it as a gift. I really did mean it as a gift. I've really enjoyed putting it together, and I'm glad that you guys have gotten so much value out of it. It's been really fun to see what kind of questions you guys would ask. Because some things to me are like, oh, I mean, doesn't everybody know that? Which has made it more fun because I was like, oh, well, then I can tell you about it. Because if you don't know, then I can help teach you. So I've been really having fun showing you guys and teaching you guys and learning from you guys, because I ask questions right back because I don't always know all the answers for sure. So this has been really fun for me, and I plan on doing it next year. So we can, only difference is I'm gonna ask you guys for questions earlier than I did. I should have waited to the last minute, but then again, I had just thought of the idea. I just really wanted to tell you guys, I just appreciate you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys showing up for all my videos, and I have had a lot of fun, and I hope you did too. And I wish you a very, very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. There will be a video out right before the New Year's, and we'll talk about what's to come. I was gonna try to do it today, but I lost the sun, so it is what it is. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and I'll be seeing you soon. Bye.